If a $1,000 emergency would send you to a credit card, you're not rich. You're just paper rich. And the scary part is, you can have a great salary and still be fragile. Because the real difference between safe and trapped isn't your salary, it's your margin, it's your liquidity, it's whether you can take a hit and stay standing. And most people who look successful have almost none. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why, and you'll have a simple 3-step pivot to fix it. Now, let's talk about how this happens. You did everything right. You studied hard, you got the grades, you got the degree, you landed the job, you climbed the ladder. And now, from the outside, your life looks impressive. Nice salary, nice car, nice apartment, nice house, nice title, nice photos, nice image. On paper, you look rich. But here's the question almost nobody asks. If life hit you in the face tomorrow, would you actually be okay? If your car broke down next week, if your dog needed surgery, if your water heater burst, if you lost your job for 60 days, would you calmly pay for it? Or would you panic and reach for debt? Because that is the dirty secret of modern money. A lot of people who look rich are financially weak. They have income, they have assets, they have status, they have things that impress people, but they do not have margin. They do not have liquidity, and they do not have freedom. They are rich on paper and broke in real life. And once you understand that, you start seeing it everywhere. You start realizing that a lot of modern success is not real strength. It is just expensive fragility wearing a nice suit. I'm the Financial Squirrel. And today, I want to show you why so many people with good salaries still feel broke, why net worth can be misleading, and why the life that looks successful from the outside can actually be a trap from the inside. Because the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to become hard to break. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding in personal finance. A lot of people think net worth equals strength. It doesn't. Net worth can look impressive on a screen, while your real life is one emergency away from chaos. You can live in a beautiful home. You can drive a luxury car. You can earn 6 figures. You can even have a rising net worth and still be financially exposed because you cannot pay a surprise bill with home equity. You cannot buy groceries with the idea that your house might be worth more in 10 years. You cannot swipe your kitchen remodel at the dentist, and that is the problem. A lot of modern wealth is trapped wealth. It looks good. It sounds good. It raises your status. It makes people assume you're winning. But when real life happens, status does not protect you, liquidity does, margin does, cash flow does. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Imagine a guy named Mark. Mark makes $250,000 a year. He lives in a gated neighborhood. He drives a Porsche. He wears the watch. He takes the vacations. He has the polished LinkedIn profile. He looks like he made it. To most people, Mark has won, but behind the scenes, Mark's life is expensive. His mortgage is huge. His car payment is huge. His insurance is high. His subscriptions stack up. His dining habits are expensive. His travel costs are expensive. His fixed lifestyle is expensive. Every month, almost everything that comes in goes right back out. After taxes and fixed expenses, Mark has maybe $1,000 of breathing room. That's it. $1,000, that is his margin for error. One medical bill, one major repair, one bad month at work, one unexpected hit. And suddenly this successful man is under pressure. Now compare Mark to someone making far less. A junior engineer earning $80,000 a year. No flashy car, no luxury zip code, no pressure to perform success for strangers. He rents a modest place. He drives an older Toyota. He keeps his life simple, and after everything is paid, he still has $2,000 left every month. So who is actually stronger? The man with the bigger salary or the man with the bigger margin? That is where people confuse income with freedom. Income helps, but margin is what protects you. If you make a lot but spend almost all of it, you're not powerful, you're dependent. Dependent on the next paycheck, dependent on stable circumstances, dependent on everything going right. And that kind of dependence is expensive, because the less cash you have, the more every surprise gets financed, and the more every emergency becomes profit for someone else. That is the paper-rich trap. It is the life that looks successful, but can't absorb reality, and the trap usually doesn't happen all at once. That is what makes it dangerous. Most people do not ruin themselves with one giant mistake. They do it slowly, quietly. A few subscriptions they barely use, more takeout because they are exhausted, a nicer car because they got promoted, a bigger apartment because they wanted to feel like they were moving up, a more expensive neighborhood because they wanted to feel established, a few small monthly payments that seemed harmless on their own. None of it feels dramatic. That's why it works, because pressure rarely arrives all at once. It builds one payment at a time, one upgrade at a time, one little I deserve it decision at a time. And after a while, your entire life becomes too expensive to pause. That is when you are no longer living from strength. You are performing stability. You are one interruption away from panic. And the scary part is this. Your lifestyle adjusts faster than your risk awareness. You stop noticing how fragile everything has become until something goes wrong. And by then, the math is already against you. Because now you don't just need income, you need constant income. That is a completely different life. A strong financial life gives you options. A weak financial life demands perfect behavior. You cannot slow down. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot get sick. You cannot take a break. You cannot walk away from a bad job. You cannot breathe. That is not wealth. That is a polished cage, and it gets worse when you understand the opportunity cost. Let's say your life is leaking just $500 a month. Not enough to scare you, not enough to feel huge, just enough to disappear. An extra payment here, a convenience habit there, a few recurring charges you stopped questioning. But here's the part that hurts. That's not just $500, that's $6,000 a year. And if you invested that instead, over time, your small leak becomes a monster at a reasonable long-term return. $500 a month can grow to roughly $295,000 in 20 years. In 30 years, it can become roughly $745,000. So you're not just buying convenience, you're selling future freedom, one small payment at a time. That $500 doesn't just leave your account, it takes your future with it. Because money is not just what it is today, it is what it could have become if you had kept it. That is the brutal part. People do not stay financially stuck only because they spend too much. They stay stuck because they keep trading future freedom for present appearance. They trade flexibility for image. They trade margin for lifestyle. They trade peace for status. And then they wonder why they still feel anxious, even while earning more than ever. That anxiety is not imaginary. It is math. You cannot out-earn a fragile structure. If your life is too expensive to pause, then your life owns you. So how do you break out of this? You do not need to become miserable. You do not need to act poor forever. And you do not need to reject every nice thing in life. You just need to stop confusing visible wealth with usable wealth. That is the shift. Step 1, kill the leaks. Go through every recurring expense in your life and ask a brutal question. Does this genuinely make my life better? Or am I paying to maintain an identity? That question will save a lot of people because many expenses are not practical. They are emotional. They are there to help you feel successful, not become secure. Cut the weak stuff first. Not because deprivation is the goal, because every dollar you stop leaking becomes part of your margin. And margin is peace. Step 2, build real liquidity. Not theoretical safety. Not money locked behind friction. Not wealth you can't touch when life happens. Real accessible cash. Enough to cover emergencies. Enough to handle a pause in income. Enough to buy time when time is exactly what you need. Because when you have real liquidity, your boss loses power over you. You stop negotiating from fear. You start negotiating from options. That kind of reserve changes your psychology. It lowers panic. It lowers pressure. It helps you think clearly. It helps you make decisions from strategy instead of desperation. Without liquidity, every inconvenience feels like a crisis. With liquidity, a crisis becomes a problem you can actually solve. That difference changes your whole life. Step 3, value cash flow over appearance. Stop asking, does this make me look successful? Start asking, does this make me stronger? That one shift will clean up your financial life faster than most people realize. A luxury upgrade might improve your image while weakening your position. A simpler life with real surplus might look less impressive while giving you actual control. And control is the whole game. Because the real goal is not to look rich. The real goal is to become resilient, to become flexible, to become hard to trap. That means lower fixed pressure, more breathing room, more liquidity, more optionality, more ability to walk away from bad situations, more ability to survive bad luck without collapsing. That is real strength, and most people are sold the exact opposite dream. Buy the bigger house, take the nicer car, upgrade the lifestyle, match your spending to your salary, keep leveling up the image, and then they wonder why they still feel broke even after they make it, because they never built a strong structure. They built an expensive one. And those are not the same thing. So no, being rich on paper is not enough. Not if your paycheck is already spoken for. Not if your bank account can't absorb real life. Not if one interruption turns your whole world into a debt problem. Not if your success disappears the second the cash stops moving. That is not freedom, that is fragile success. So stop chasing the image. Stop building a life designed to impress people who do not pay your bills. Build the kind of financial life that can take a hit and stay standing. Build margin, build liquidity, build flexibility. Because the strongest person in the room is not always the one who looks richest. It is the one who can survive uncertainty without falling apart. That is the difference between looking wealthy and actually being secure. If this made something click for you, subscribe and stick around. This is the Financial Squirrel. And here, we are not trying to look rich. We are trying to build a forest.